everyone. So I am continuing with the request videos, and this is going to be a reading video. I was requested to read some poems, so that's what I'm going to do. But I will be finishing by reading a very beautiful part of the book Call Me By Your Name. So that will be more towards the ending. I'm going to start with some poems. I have my personal book of poems and quotes and other texts here. So I will be reading some of the poems I have collected in here. I'm going to start with a poem by Pablo Neruda. It is translated into English, and I think it is beautiful. Obviously, I think they're all beautiful, or they would not be in here. Forgive me if you are not living, if you, beloved, my love, if you have died. All the leaves will fall on my breast. It will rain on my soul all night, all day. My feet will want to march to where you are sleeping, but I shall go on living. Sometimes I write parts of poems in here, so not complete poems, like this, which is from Absence by Matthew Arnold. In this fair stranger's eyes of grey, thine eyes, my love, I see. I shudder, for the passing day has borne me far from thee. This is the curse of life, that not a nobler, calmer train of wiser thoughts and feelings blot our passions from our brain. But each day brings its pretty dust, our soon choked souls to fill, and we forget because we must, and not because we will. I just love that last line. It's why I wrote it in a different color. I turned the lights down quite low so you may not be able to see, but this is blue and this is black. And we forget because we must, and not because we will. course, in a poetry reading that features poems that I like, I have to include First Fig and Second Fig by Edna St. Vincent Millay. I'm sure I've read this before somewhere in some videos on my channel, but they're just beautiful. First Fig. My candle burns at both ends. It will not last the night. But ah, my foes, and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light. And Second Fig. Safe upon the solid rock, the ugly houses stand. Come and see my shining palace, built upon the sand. So, as you may know, I have these two poems tattooed on top of my shoulders. There. Right there. I've decided that I will be making another tattoo video at some point, so I will talk more about them then. I have a very long, well, a long-ish poem here by Thomas Foe. The aged lover renounces love, but I'm going to save that for a little bit because I don't know how long this is all going to run. I'll read a part of another Thomas Foe poem from A Quiet Mind. When all is done and said, in the end thus shall you find, he most of all doth bathe in bliss that hath a quiet mind, and clear from worldly cares, to deem can be content. The sweetest time in all this life is thinking to be spent. Two poems from Poe. A Dream. In visions of the dark night, I have dreamed of joy departed, but a waking dream of life and light hath left me broken-hearted. What is not a dream by day to him whose eyes are cast on things around him with a ray turned back upon the past? That holy dream, while all the world were chiding, hath cheered me as a lovely beam, a lonely spirit guiding. What though that light, though storm and night, so trembled from afar? What could there be more purely bright in truth's day star? So this next poem is a very important to me. It's called A Paean, and this is actually the poem that when I'm very anxious, I will recite it in my head over and over again, and it will help me get my mind and my thoughts under control. So this poem is an important one that I think of quite often. A Paean. How shall the burial rite be read, the solemn song be sung, the requiem for the loveliest dead, which ever died so young? Her friends are gazing on her, and on her gaudy bier, and weep, oh, to dishonor dead beauty with a tear. They loved her for her wealth, and they hated her for her pride, but she grew in feeble health, and they love her that she died. They tell me, while they speak of her costly broidered pall, that my voice is growing weak, that I should not sing at all, or that my tone should be tuned to such a solemn song, so mournfully, that the dead may feel no wrong. But she is gone above, with young hope at her side, and I am drunk with love of the dead who is my bride, of the dead who lies, all perfumed there, with the death upon her eyes, and the life upon her hair. Thus on the coffin, loud and strong, I strike. The murmur sent through the great chambers to my song shall be the accompaniment. Thou diedst in thy life's June, but thou didst not die too fair. Thou didst not die too soon, nor with too calm an air. From more than friends on earth, thy life and love are riven to join the untainted mirth of more than thrones in heaven. And therefore to thee, on this night, I will no requiem raise, but waft thee on thy flight with a paean of old days. I love that poem. So here's one that a lot of you may be familiar with. It is quite well known. It's by W.H. Auden, Funeral Blues, famously known for its use in the movie For Weddings and a Funeral. I only have the first and the last verse here. Stop all the clocks, cut off the telephone, prevent the dog from barking with a juicy bone, silence the pianos, and with a muffled drum, bring out the coffin, let the mourners come. So then I skip ahead. The stars are not wanted now. Put out every one. Pack up the moon and dismantle the sun. Pour away the ocean and sweep up the wood, for nothing now can ever come to any good. For nothing now can ever come to any good. Good Night by Francis Quarles. Close now thine eyes and rest secure. Thy soul is safe enough, thy body sure. He that loves me, he that keeps and guards thee, never slumbers, never sleeps. The smiling conscience in a sleeping breast has only peace, has only rest. The music and the mirth of kings are all but fairy discords when she sings. Then close thine eyes and rest secure. No sleep as sweet as thine, no rest so sure. I guess that would have been a good one to finish with. But I'm finishing with the reading of the book anyway. Another quite famous poem, Harlem by Langston Hughes. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Here another one where I really particularly like certain lines. So again, written in blue, and then this is written in black. So, Edge by Sylvia Plath. The woman is perfected. Her dead body wears the smile of accomplishment. The illusion of a Greek necessity flows in the scrolls of her toga. Her bare feet seem to be saying, "We have come so far, it is over." Each dead child coiled, a white serpent, one at each little pitcher of milk now empty. She has folded them back into her body as petals of a rose, close when the garden stiffens and odor bleed from the sweet, deep throats of the night flower. The moon has nothing to be sad about. Staring from her hood of bone, she is used to this sort of thing. Her blacks crackle and drag. The moon has nothing to be sad about, staring from her hood of bone. She is used to this sort of thing. Her blacks crackle and drag. Her blacks crackle and drag. Her blacks crackle and drag. So, in the very back, on the last pages, I have some of my own poetry. It's not good, but these are the ones that I didn't want to forget. The rest can be forgotten. Preferably, it will be forgotten. Let's read you a funny one. This is a funny one. I can't be trusted if it's boring. Well, interesting too. Don't tell me things. It's better. I'll only betray you. Can you blame me? I don't trust. All I know is pain. I'll make an empty promise and fuck it up again. It's true, you shouldn't tell me secrets. This is another funny one. I'm going to go with the funny ones because then you can just laugh and it's okay. If I read you a serious one and you laugh, then it's sad. So here's another funny one. I won't give up. It might be naive. It'll hurt me so, but I'll never leave. You might want me to, but that I'll disregard. I'll follow you around until you are no more. And if you want to rid of me, there's only one thing you can do. Kiss me breathless until I turn blue. Oh, silly, silly teenage girl. Okay, I'm going to stick to the funny ones. I am going to decide against reading the very long The Aged Lover Renounces Love, but I'm going to read you the first verse and the last. So, I loathe that I did love in youth that I thought sweet, and as time requires for my behove, methinks they are not meet. Actually, let me continue to the next one. It's so good. My lusts they do me leave, my fancies all be fled, and tract of time begins to weave grey hairs upon my head. For age, with stealing steps, hath clawed me with his crutch, and lusty life away she leaps, as there had been no such. My muse doth not delight me as she did before. My hand and pen are not in plight as they have been of yore. For reason me denies this youthly idle rhyme, and day by day to me she cries, leave off these toys in time. The wrinkles in my brow, the furrows in my face, say limping age will hedge him now, where youth must give him place. The harbinger of death, to me I see him ride, the cough, the cold, the gasping breath, doth bid me to provide a pickaxe and a spade, and eke a shrouding sheet, a house of clay for to be made, for such a guest most meet. Methinks I hear the clerk that knolls the careful knell, and bids me leave my woeful work ere nature me compel. My keepers knit the knot that youth did laugh to scorn, of me that clean shall be forgot, as I had not been born. Thus must I youth give up, whose badge I long did wear. To them I yield the wanton cup, that better may it bear. Lo here the bared skull, by whose bald sign I know that stooping age away shall pull, which youthful years did sow. For beauty with her band these crooked cares hath wrought, and skipped me into the land from whence I first was brought. And ye that bide behind, have ye none other trust? As ye of clay were cast by kind, so shall ye waste to dust. Okay, so much for the poetry reading. I think that's about half an hour, and what I want to read to you now will take some time as well. So, I finished this book. I'm reading it again already. So I'm now again on page 94. I've seen the movie now as well, 3 times in 3 days. I am in awe of something so amazing. So near the ending, very near the ending in the movie, not so much near the ending in the book, because there's quite a bit of time that passes afterwards still. The main character, Elio, has a conversation with his father, and the things his father says are so incredibly moving and beautiful. So I'm going to read that to you. I'm going to skip some of the internal thoughts of Elio in between so that it stays closer to the version in the movie. You two had a nice friendship. You're too smart not to know how rare, how special what you two had was. Oliver was Oliver, I said, as if that summed things up. Parce que c'était lui, parce que c'était moi, my father added, quoting Montaigne's all-encompassing explanation for his friendship with Etienne de la Boétie. I was thinking instead of Emily Bronte's words, because he's more myself than I am. Oliver may be very intelligent, I began. Intelligent? He was more than intelligent. What you two had everything and nothing to do with intelligence. He was good, and you were both lucky to have found each other because you too are good. I think he was better than me, Papa. I'm sure he'd say the same about you, which flatters the both of you. What lies ahead is going to be very difficult. Fear not, it will come. At least I hope it does. And when you least expect it, nature has cunning ways of finding our weakest spot. Just remember, I am here. Right now, you may not want to feel anything. Perhaps you never wish to feel anything. And perhaps it's not with me that you'll want to speak about these things. But feel something you did. Look, you had a beautiful friendship. Maybe more than a friendship. And I envy you. In my place, most parents would hope that the whole thing goes away, or pray that their sons land on their feet soon enough. But I am not such a parent. In your place, if there is pain, nurse it, and if there is flame, don't snuff it out, don't be brutal with it. Withdrawal can be a terrible thing when it keeps us awake at night, and watching others forget us sooner than we want to be forgotten is no better. We rip out so much of ourselves to be cured of things faster than we should, that we go bankrupt by the age of 30 and have less to offer each time we start with someone new. But to feel nothing, so as not to feel anything, what a waste. Have I spoken out of turn? He asked. I shook my head. Then let me say one more thing. It will clear the air. I may have come close, but I never had what you had. Something always held me back or stood in the way. How you live your life is your business, but remember, our hearts and our bodies are given to us only once. Most of us can't help but live as though we've got 2 lives to live. One is the mock-up, the other the finished version, and then there are all those versions in between. But there's only one, and before you know it, your heart is worn out, and as for your body, there comes a point when no one looks at it, much less wants to come near it. Right now there's sorrow. I don't envy the pain, but I envy you the pain. We may never speak about this again, but I hope you'll never hold it against me that we did. I will have been a terrible father if one day you'd want to speak to me and felt that the door was shut or not sufficiently open. I'm just every time I see that part in the movie, I cry. It's just genius. Can you see that I'm getting like red splotchy areas? That's because this is emotional. It's so beautiful. This whole thing is so beautiful. Never read a book like this. I don't think I'll ever find another book like this. If you've seen the movie and not read the book, please go and read the book. It'll enhance the movie so much once you've read this. There's an audiobook of it too, so if you don't like reading, you can listen to it. Anyway, that was this request video. I hope you enjoyed, and again, this was the lo-fi setup. If you've left me a request and you now have a preference whether you want it this way or with the new microphone, please give me an update, because I'm just winging it with my requests now, choosing whether or not to film it one way or the other. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you are asleep, and I hope to see you next time. Good night. Good night. Sleep well.